For Veterans Day tomorrow, you might be wondering what services may or may not be available. We'll map that out for you coming up.
And we'll hear from one of our reporters on what events the ASWSU student veteran community has been planned for today, next on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Sydney Gardner.
And I'm Cameron Baber. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
As Veterans Day approaches, there are multiple events that the ASWSU Student Veterans Committee put on. Murrow News 8 reporter Dakota Cruz visited the WSU Veterans Memorial site earlier today and has more information.
Thank you, Sydney. Well, yes, as we know, tomorrow is Veterans Day, but today the ASWSU Student Veteran Committee planned a day filled with events to celebrate Veterans Day. Earlier today, the Student Veteran Committee held a sunrise ceremony from 7 to 10 a.m. right here at the Veterans Memorial site. This ceremony was held in observance of Veterans Day as student veterans raised the American flag and laid wreaths down to honor those who served for the United States military. Following the ceremony, there was a reception with food and beverages that took place at Holland Library in room 120BA to keep the celebration of Veterans Day going. And finally, tonight, the Student Veterans Committee will hold a Veterans Appreciation Dinner at the Elson S. Floyd Cultural Center at 5:30. And lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to all who have served our country and who are continuing to serve our country, keeping this place a better place to live in. That is all here. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Dakota. The newest U.S. military branch, the U.S. Space Force, will be recognized alongside the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Coast Guard in the next batch of WSU Military Challenge coins. According to WSU Insider, student veterans receive the coin from the university upon graduation. The coin's design was modified earlier this year to add reference to the Space Force, and the WSU Office of Veterans Affairs has ordered an updated batch of the coins that is expected to be minted soon. The university already has at least 2 active duty members of the Space Force enrolled in online graduate programs.
WSU is working with leaders from other universities to discuss the ongoing crisis with Afghanistan. Scott Avery, WSU's Director of Graduate Assessment, has worked in Afghanistan to help rebuild the country's higher education system implemented through WSU. Currently, he's working with WSU faculty, the State Department, and other federal agencies to assist with visa processing information for qualified Afghan refugees who have previously worked on WSU projects or have studied under WSU programs. So far, only about a dozen have managed to flee Afghanistan so far.
Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and there are a few things you need to know in terms of what will be open or closed. Buses are still going to run, and you can expect Waste Management to still come by, but there will be no mail. Schools and government offices will be closed.
Washington State Cares Fund is receiving locally and statewide. The Washington Cares Fund takes about 0.58% of gross wages. Those making $75,000 salary will pay about $435 per year. Deductions begin in January of 2022. Statewide people are trying to change the law with Initiative 1436. CEO Dave Whitehead called it a, quote, very ill-conceived state policy and believes it won't survive all of its negative views on it.
As the holiday season quickly approaches, shoppers are faced with a spike in prices due to the highest level of inflation in 30 years. The latest Consumer Price Index for October recorded a 6.2% increase year over year, according to data released Wednesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Food, energy, shelter, and vehicles are among the items that have seen the highest month-to-month increase. This increase is due to high consumer demand and persistent supply shortages.
Congress passed a landmark infrastructure package on Friday that will also send billions to the Northwest. This package will help hundreds of bridges and thousands of miles of highways in Washington and in Idaho that are in need of repairs. In addition to the roads and bridge funds, Washington and Idaho will be able to complete for an additional $12.5 billion program for major bridges and $16 billion programs for mega projects.
Due to staffing shortages, the Department of Transportation is down around 300 people, which means roads won't be maintained for snowplowing as quickly during the coming winter months. The department spokesperson Barbara Robo wrote in a blog post saying that the department was already short-staffed, but with the state's vaccine mandate along with other non-COVID related reasons, they lost about 6% of their staff. So this winter, expect some potentially long road closures.
Pullman's very own Jefferson Elementary is recognized as a National Distinguished School for exceptional student achievement. According to Pullman Radio, up to 100 schools around the country, including 7 other in Washington state, earned this honor in 2021 from the National Association of ESEA State Program Administrators. Along with this recognition, the elementary school was awarded $30,000.
The Palouse Conservation District received a big federal grant from the USDA. Find out what for and which other states will be involved.
And it's been cold with rainy conditions lately. Find out if the weather will have a shift at all for the rest of this week after the break. There is a new technology algorithm that is being made up to help us fight climate change. This new algorithm helps the building of nanoporous materials. These materials could help us solve society's biggest challenges. This material can also absorb carbon dioxide or methane from the air and could give us a shortage of hydrogen for vehicle fuel. Researchers hope to use this algorithm to help with real-world issues.
According to Pullman Radio, the Palouse Conservation District received a $2.2 million grant from the USDA to support climate-healthy agriculture and soil health, involving inland Northwest farmers from Washington, Idaho, and Oregon. The goal of this collaboration is to move towards widespread soil health management systems across the nation. And I'm not loving this weather. I'm never quite sure how to dress with it being so cold in the mornings and then warming up during the day. Jacoby, what can you tell us about the forecast?
I got sunshine on a cloudy day. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but let's go ahead and get into our weather. You will see that today's high was about 45 degrees with a low of 37. And then let's move on to tomorrow. You will notice that tomorrow is going to be a lot of clouds in the sky with a high of 46 and a low of 42. So I want you guys to be prepared between tonight and tomorrow morning because there is a small chance of rain and snow. So be prepared for a slip and slide tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get into our state map. You will notice that on the west side, it was about 51 and 50 for Olympia and Seattle as a high with a low of 46 and 45. In the middle of Washington, you'll see that it is going to be continuing the trend of the 50s, 50 in Yakima, 55 in Tri-Cities. Let's go ahead and look at our east side of Washington. I already told you what Pullman was, but in Spokane, it is going to be about 46 with a low of 33. Let's go ahead and look at our 5-day forecast. I'm going to move out of the way so you all can see this. You will notice I've already told you that the trends, we're going to have some rain is going to start popping up soon. So I hope you all are prepared for that and ready to go throughout the rest of the week. We will not see any more sunshine. So I hope you all are ready. I'm going to send it back over to the desk to my sisters. Hey, girls.
Thanks, Jacoby. I love Jacoby's weathercast. Well, both men and women's basketball teams had a great outing yesterday. Find out who led the way.
And WSU soccer player was called up for the women's national team. We'll tell you which athlete that was when we come back.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment.
He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching.
That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. I'm Isaiah Sharp with your sports. WSU basketball is officially underway, and the Cougs started their season with a bang. Let's start with the women's basketball. After a great freshman campaign, star sophomore guard Charlize Ledger-Walker tied the Cougs in lead scoring with 22 points. Her teammate, Bella Murekatete, matched that with her career-high 22 points of her own, leading the Cougs to an 86-56 win over San Jose State. The Cougs get back in action Friday against Northern Arizona. Now on to the men. Junior Tyrell Roberts led the team in scoring with 16 points, and Southern Alabama transfer Michael Flowers in his first game with WSU led the team in rebounds with 11 rebounds. Guards TJ Bamba and Jefferson Koulibaly added to the scoring with a combined 24 points off the bench to help the Cougs close out an 85-67 win over Alcorn State. Men's basketball's back in action Friday against Seattle U. And from Portland FC to USWNT, Washington State great Morgan Weaver is headed to international play for the first time in her career. The Coug great will join the women's national team for a pair of friendlies later this month in Australia. Weaver finished her All-American career at Washington State with 43 goals, which ranks second all-time in program history. That's all I have for sports today. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and as always, go Cougs. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Isaiah. People magazine announced who will be the sexiest man alive was yesterday.
And we'll tell you who takes the crown coming up after the break.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. People magazine has named their 2021 Sexiest Man Alive, and it's Paul Rudd.
Yes, the magazine's tradition of naming the sexiest man alive all started in 1985 with Mel Gibson as their first cover. Sydney, what are your thoughts on Paul Rudd winning Sexiest Man Alive?
I think it was a pretty good choice. I think he's classic. I think it was great. It's nice to see.
I agree. I think my first crush for Paul Rudd developed in the movie Clueless.
Oh yeah, I loved
Classic.
him in Clueless. That's a nice classic. Also
Yes.
Ant-Man.
Yep, Ant-Man, Marvel.
Great superhero. He can really do it all. What can he do?
I know. Wow, literally, what can Paul Rudd do? I agree.
There's nothing. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you missed this, anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
And more news can be found at nwpb.org/mn8. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and TikTok.
TikTok.
Yes, yeah. All right, guys, thank you. Have a great night.